get some sponsorships.
There's people that want to vote on it.
There's a good revenue source.
We can click monetize on YouTube.
That's what I say about Sunday morning. I'm like, if we got about 999,100, we'd be getting some money. We get that many more viewers.
The shares.
It's a long ways when you're after the 100.
Another raise?
Testing, okay. Good morning, I'm Brian Wilson, Burnett County Judge. I call this regular session of our Burnett County Commissioners Court to order. Today is Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. The time is now 9:01. This meeting is being held in the second floor courtroom located at 220 South Pierce, Burnett, Texas. I call agenda item number 2. Please join me for the invocation led by John Weems.
Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for this amazing place we get to live and serve. We thank you for these men and women that serve you through the county. We pray your blessings on them, especially to all our law enforcement agents and our first responders. God, we ask as they come into a time to talk and to plan that they listen to your Holy Spirit's guidance, that they work together in unity. And Lord, we pray for our county, that it just continues to heal from the devastating floods. God, that as we continue to move into more ordinary life, that we don't forget those who are suffering. Lord, help us to be more like you every day, and we thank you for all you've done. In your Son's most holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. All right, I call agenda item number 3, public comments pursuant to Texas Government Code 551-007. The Commissioners Court allows any person to make a comment on any item appearing on the agenda. However, in this section of public comment, any person may make a comment on the item on items not posted on the agenda. Any comments will not be deliberated by the Commissioners Court during this public comments agenda item. Is there any public comment?
Hi, Patty Cope. Last week was a really important week in Burnett County for budget. And the 14th and 15th, I think, were Thursday and Friday, I think, were there some budget deadlines that got missed. Am I misunderstanding that? I wanted to find out what was going on. I think there were some conferences that people attended downtown in Austin. And I think the budget in the unfinished state should have been a priority, just my opinion. Thank you.
All right, any other public comment for items not on the agenda? Okay. All right, close public comment. I change the order of the meeting and I call agenda item number 7, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action to change the proposed FY26 budget. Is there any public comment on this item? Okay, I close public comment. Commissioners, there's two budgets to consider on the agenda today. They were both posted online and you received them before the meeting. One is the corrected version from last week, which I labeled second corrected version. It included titles, making the adjustments to expenses, removed ancillary costs where the draft deleted an employee, but the other costs continued to be carried forward. And then it also adds some additional funds for our road and bridge general fund to allow commissioners to enter into prepaid agreements with the Texas Department of Transportation. The additions were one-time cost, not affecting the tax rate, and paid from our fund balance. This budget holds to our conservative principles and the previously adopted tax rate that allows our citizens to have a 3% decrease, tax decrease. Or we can adopt a budget that swells the growth of government in our Burnett County, additional ongoing costs, limiting the ability to reduce taxes in future years. As a lifelong conservative, I said in my interview for this appointment to this position as county judge that if appointed, I would provide transparent and open government. And we have worked very well together to provide that open government and transparency that's been lacking. I promised that I would put people first. That is a choice we need to make today. We have an 8% poverty rate in our county. That means 4,000 people living at a poverty of below $17,000 per year, or a family less than $32,000 a year. While some of these people are elderly, which means if they own property, their taxes are frozen, our decision today won't affect them like it will a lot of the poor people, because a big portion of that of the 4,000 people are below the age of 18. Our food banks are operating at the highest distribution level seen by anyone in years. Our people have suffered in the flood with almost 400 homes either totally or partially destroyed. In this corrected budget, we are investing in our community, the economic strength by providing raises to our employees, and we have some road work that can get done out of our fund balance that will also build the local economy. The Senate passed a 2% cap already in this last special session, and they're likely to do it again. And this will likely pass in this new special session. That means you cannot grow government and expect future cuts. Please adopt this second corrected proposed FY26 budget that lines up with our previously adopted tax rate and give our Burnett County people a well-earned and much-needed tax break. Do I have a motion to adopt the FY26 corrected proposed budget?
Can you go over the specific, where the changes?
This budget, on the second corrected budget, puts $600,000 in ready to, so that you can enter into the commissioners that if TxDOT's ready to make a change like an egress or ingress road, the commissioner can come back and ask that $600,000. It's under road and bridge general. That's a one-time cost of $600,000 available to any of the commissioners that can work with TxDOT. This budget includes all of the one-time costs that y'all voted on individually, but it does remove the 5 additional costs of ongoing cost of personnel for the sheriff. In the last 5 years, the sheriff has increased staff, the sheriff's department, not the sheriff, but the sheriff's department has increased staff by over 34%, and they've had wage increases of over 46.5%. So I'm asking that this court hold the line on new positions. But they get some new vehicles, and they get radios and tough books and things like that, one-time costs that won't keep adding to the tax burden in the future. So, do you want me to go line by line over this, or that's a general approximation?
How many vehicles are you anticipating taking out of fund balance? New vehicles for the sheriff's office?
We had 7 before, is that what we had?
Looks like 858,000 in this line. Wait, hold on. No,
What page is that?
I'm on page 28.
$28?
In the corrected version?
Yeah, that's,
Okay, yeah.
7, is that 7? Vehicles with upfit?
okay, I got you right here,
11 radios, 14 handhelds, 4 rifles, and 35 tough books is in here.
On the 7 vehicles, aren't we, we're still waiting on some more to be out there?
Yeah.
You know how many?
Jim, use your microphone.
Forget my words.
So this budget and what you're waiting on will increase, you have 14 new vehicles? Or no?
Not that depends on which budget you're looking at, because it's a whack-a-mole on the budgets, because different budgets pop up. The one I worked on is not the one that I received today, and so the numbers are very different. I just changed some numbers with Kelly yesterday on the budget, so I don't know what's included, what's not included. I can tell you off of the budget that was posted when the original agenda got posted where we are, and it's got significant errors in it, including, if you look at your budget right now, it shows us we have 5 CIT deputies that were on there, and we have deputies taken away, not added. Page 26, bottom page, you add 6, 1, 7, 8, 1, and 5. That's 28 deputies. That's what we currently have. Y'all gave us a CIT deputy, I thought.
How many?
28, and that's what we currently have today. On this current budget, we have 28 positions. The CIT deputy, looks like we have 5. If you look at page 27 at the top, CIT shows 5 across the top there. Instead of, we should have 2. So, again, with the changing of the budgets, I'm going to recommend that it goes line by line, because there's just so many significant issues with the budget. It also doesn't include the original budget. The revised budget that was posted with the agenda on the assistants only had 6 positions listed, and all that happened was they took the word records off of one of the law enforcement specialists and added case manager into that position. So then we gained a case manager, but we lost a records position. So now under the new one, on page 26, we do have the 7. So that's what I'm saying. Being able to compare them in less than 24 hours, line by line, which took me 24 hours to do what I did on the revised schedule, there's some significant differences. And if this is the time to talk about the patrol positions, I want to correct the record on what was stated at the last hearing, that during our original presentation that we did not talk about response times. All of y'all got this form that we presented to every commissioner and the judge. And it says quicker response times, ability to cover calls and service faster. Travel times is shortened with more units on the road. Officer safety, more reliability, more readily available backup units, just what I said last week when it was said on the record that we didn't say this in our presentation. We did say it. I also have Staffing ratios.
Let me go back to that. Are you saying in that form that you said what the response time was?
Yes, sir.
And how long is the
No, I
response
didn't say
time?
what the response time, it says that was
You
one.
were asking me last week what your response time was?
Because I have our response times,
Okay,
and
what
I'm
is-
prepared
what
to
is it?
present those.
What is it?
Can I give them to you, so that everybody has them?
I gave it to you last week.
The minutes to respond?
Yeah.
And then here's your response times.
See them on here.
Here's response times. That is staffing ratio, sorry. That's what I want to cover as well. Response times. Response times.
Sir?
So our average is, for all calls, 12 minutes and 20 seconds across the year. And so you tell me what you want do you want to improve on that number, or do you want the number to go up? The staffing ratio that I gave you. Information taken from the FBI Uniform Crime Records in 2019, counting 13,247 city and county agencies distributed data. County agencies reported an average of 2.8 officers per 1,000 inhabitants. If you just work off of our current census, where we're below the 50, we're at 49, rounded up to 50, that would mean that we need to have 62 sworn officers, or that's our current. 31 of those 62 are patrol officers, 1.24% per 1,000 at 50, and 1.3 when we should be at above 2 per 1,000 inhabitants of the county. They use a rule of 60. 60% of your sworn officers should be assigned to patrol. Currently, staffing at patrol is at 50, and that doesn't take into account people that are being trained, vacancies, any of those positions. The ratio of 2 peace officers per 1,000 at the 50,000 population recommends that we should have 100 sworn officers, which would mean we would add 38 additional officers, and on the rule of 60, that our patrol, just our patrol alone would be at 60, and I just told you this morning we're at 28, so we're less than half. Population at 55, which we're actually at, 110 sworn, additional 48 officers. The rule of 60 staffing is patrol at 66, significantly over, less than half. The ratio, the ratio from this FBI report says that our ratio should actually be 2.8. At a population of 50, we would have 140 sworn officers. And I'm not saying that that's where we need to be. I'm just showing the numbers of where we actually are when you trickle down to our actual numbers, and even if we were going to try to get to the two per. Additional 78 officers, and that would mean out of that, we'd have 84 in patrol. And I don't think anybody sitting here would believe that we need 84 patrol officers. This is the FBI statistical data from 2019. If it was at 55, it's an additional 92 officers and 92 officers on patrol. Again, I'm not saying that we need to have 92 patrol officers, but I am saying that at 28, we're significantly below the national average, and that the stats that are also included in the agenda, actually, the increase of patrol deputies over the last course of the years, where you mentioned earlier that the sheriff budget has increased, then I would back up your data that by increasing patrol officers, your crime goes down. And that's what I think your point was, is that crime is going down. Do we want to continue that trend? We're continuing to grow, but you're happy to leave us where we're at rather than to address the problem that's coming. Our population is going to continue to grow, and our roads are going to continue to get heavier and heavier traffic. These numbers also, the stats that were provided for the agenda regarding the crime stats, I'm assuming those came from Tibers. Is that correct?
From Crime in Texas.
Tibers. That only counts index crimes. If the crime does not fit into a set definition from the FBI, it doesn't get counted. There are crimes that only get counted when arrests are made, and there's a bunch of those that are included on here. Crimes that end up as unfounded never get counted, and this does not take into account call volume, geography, traffic enforcement, EDP, dealing with emotional disturbed individuals, citizen assistance, animal calls. And so I'm saying that the Tibers information, while I'm no expert on Tibers, I do have an expert on Tibers that can come in and tell you that the information is a poor predicator of the workload that an agency handles. It gives you a set numbers, and if you're looking just for what your crime index is, that's the number it's going to give you. It doesn't tell you the rest of the story. And I'm telling you that those numbers going down means we're also on, think of just here recently, how many significant traffic accidents have we had that we've had 5, 6 deputies at because we're fortunate enough to have that many officers on the road to go help with traffic assistance and to go, we just had a 5-person fatality that we assisted with that until DPS came in and took over, we were the lead investigation unit on it. It's just every week we have significant traffic accidents, and so the addition of 4 deputies, you talked about not growing government by adding 4 deputies, and yet your own department grew over 70%, 70.4% from last year to this year. And so is that not growing government? And so it's, if we're looking to places to cut, those are two positions that flew through without a question. Well, there was a little bit of question from the county clerk and the district clerk about they weren't going to use the reporter. We're talking about $120,000 for a court that currently has 2 days of docket a month. That's 24 days in a year for $120,000 on the budget. The $105,000 PIO, I explained last week, we have a PIO, a records officer or clerk that handles, at the end of this month, we'll be at 700 record requests. That's a non-lawyer position that doesn't need to be at 105,000. So you're talking $225,000 added to the budget for one department, and we're talking about cuts. And if you're cutting law enforcement, the need for 4 more deputies, we discussed using the restricted fund, or the fund balance to cover some of that. And we talked about the jail, had that significant discussion last week as well. But that's my position on the deputies, and that's not the only area that's not covered.
Okay.
I got Calvin Boyd, Burnett County Sheriff. I have a couple of questions. On this information you sent out, you were comparing salaries with other counties. I noticed you left your salary off, and the commissioners, I guess that was just an oversight.
Are you talking about the sheet?
Yeah.
That was,
Why'd you-
my instructions were to put I've given it to the commissioners with the county judge and the commissioners.
Why'd you leave yours off?
I didn't leave mine on. I mean, on this version, I gave out instructions to do all elected officials.
Okay.
And so,
Beside the point. So you compares with Caldwell and Chambers and Kendall and Kerr, which I assume those are similar populations. Is that where you came
all
up
around
with that? Yeah.
50,000.
Well, as usual, numbers only tell one thing. There's a whole different story. And these counties, we have a unique situation. We border Travis County and Williamson County. I'm not competing with Caldwell, Chambers, Kendall, Kerr. I'm competing with Travis County and Williamson County. Now, we can't pay what they pay, but I mean, you're saying our salaries have gone up so much. We were in pretty poor shape, so we started going up because that's what police officers get paid. We're not asking for anything special, anything extra. Leander just came out with a thing, I think it was last week, their patrol deputies make anywhere from $800 to $80,000 to $100,000 a year. We can't compete with that, obviously, but we need to stay close if we can, because I can't retain officers if we can't pay them. So your comments about we've been getting so many raises, a little irritating. Also, I noticed that on the SB 22, you didn't have the salaries.
Yeah, we haven't applied for that grant yet, so.
When are we applying for this grant? We're not going to get it. And you know what's going to happen? We're going to lose salary. Our officers are going to lose money. They're going to lose part of their salary, and that means we're going to lose officers. So
It's on the agenda today to apply for the grant.
So when we do apply for the grant, are you going to include the salaries in there? Because it's supposed to be we're supposed to decide what we do with SB 22. Are the salaries going to be included when we get the grant?
I guess we'll take that up later in the agenda.
I want to take it up now. Are we going to do what we did last year with SB 22? Where we
I'm not calling that agenda item right now, but it's part of the budget. The $350,000 is in the budget for the sheriff's office, but I'm not calling that agenda.
So I'm having a feeling you're not wanting to do that. I guess I'll wait till 22. Maybe you can answer my question then.
I will. So, Commissioners, I'm going to respond probably in detriment of the general counsel, but if this was a federal legislative body, having an employee lobby like this would be a crime, and if it was a state legislative body, it would be a crime. But we don't have such laws in the county government, and so we'll just have to allow the situation, by advice of counsel, to have lobbying of county employees paid to be here. And I'm not talking about elected officials, Mr. Sheriff. I'm talking about county employees lobbying the legislative body of the county. But having said that, in response generally as a conservative, I understand that this is the situation we find ourselves in. And so county employees can be paid to come and lobby this body with the county funds that they're receiving. And that's going to just have to leave it at that. The other thing is, the other day, when I was thinking about how government is, I just called to mind a Bible verse in Proverbs that said that the leech has two daughters that always say give. And the reality is, government is like that. It always wants more, always wants to take money from the people who pay their taxes. And there's always good reasons. Now, I don't even know how to start to respond to the population situation that Chief and Sheriff brought up. It's spent a lot of time this weekend looking at research about how to determine appropriate government coverage. And one of the thing is about this whole officer per thousand thing has been just a kind of a myth that started back in the 30s and been perpetrated over and over on government. So I don't know if there's any corrected budget or little details that need to be corrected in this budget, because I can't get into the Encode system to do it myself. I have to rely on other people. That is the way our budget system works. I tried at the beginning of this process, and I brought everything into Excel, and I tried to fix it exactly like I wanted. But then when I took it back over to the auditor, you saw all the lines of errors that we had to deal with last week. Now, the statute in Chapter 111 says that we have to provide a budget that is in general nature and similar to previous budgets. So I tried to get rid of many of the hidden costs and codes that were in these back things. That's why they're all zero, pages and pages of zero, because the statute requires us to deliver a budget that to the public that looks like or similar to the budget. Now, are there errors in this budget? There could be some small things. I need to go back. If we were only intending to add one CIT officer that was grant funded, is no longer grant funded. I worked with Mike Maples to make sure we could get that into the budget, but you're telling me we added 5. Is that what you're telling me?
That's correct.
Okay.
And took one position away. If you added that position, we have actually 2 positions, because we only have, I think, on this budget, we only have 26 positions, and we should have 28. And then if you added the 4, it would be 32, and added the CIT, it would be 33.
So where it says 5 CIT deputies, that should be 1.
We have 2 CIT deputies. We've had one that's funded by the county. The only one that has expired was the one that was granted. And so now we are asking for an additional. So we should have 2 CIT deputies. And just looking at the deputies alone, the descriptions under each of them, we tried to match names with the number of people for each of those, and it is so far off that we'd have to literally do line by line, officer by officer, to correct the numbers that are on there. So I'm saying, just as an example, Deputy 111/12, there should be 6. We have 7. Deputy 111-4, we should have 1. We have 5. Deputy 111-5, we should have 7. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's where I stopped, because every number that I checked was wrong. And if you'll, well, you took off the original revised to the new revised, took off the 4 deputies. So that's 4 of the spots, but still didn't add a CIT as well. And I did go in with Kelly yesterday to try to get all this according to what we currently are and what we had asked for originally, and then also using the proposed budget to show the difference in numbers. And I think it was fairly successful in her adding the things that she said she could add. There were some things she said she couldn't add because she would wait for you to comment on those.
Okay. But you worked with her yesterday to correct these positions?
No, not the positions.
Okay.
I worked with her yesterday to talk about the case manager position that on the original revised is not on there. It does say case manager, but they simply took records off of one and made that a case manager. That's not adding a position. That's keeping status quo. So we needed to add a position under assistance. And that position needs to now be, because it was taken off is records. We talked about that, she changed that, and I believe that it did stay on there. We talked about the corporals, and she said that was a reclass and that we'd have to talk about that in non-departmental. We did talk about the CIT deputy, and I did explain the situation that the revised had 5 on it, and we only should have 2. And I don't believe that did not get changed.
All right, thank you.
So we don't have a corrected version of the sheriff's office at this point?
No. Nor do you have a corrected version of the line item requests.
I'm talking about just existing right now.
Sure.
It doesn't even match up from that standpoint.
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Chief. Commissioners, I call a recess for 30 minutes. We'll be back. The time is now 9:36, and we'll be back at 6 after the hour. gasoline or do I have to wait till 6 after the gym? Okay. It's 6 after the hour, 10:06. I call the meeting back to order. Commissioners, I want to say for the record and to make sure to communicate to every employee and elected official that Chapter 111-002 gives me the authority as the budget officer for this county. And in the future, I'll be a lot more careful. And I've advised the auditor not to usurp my role as budget officer, to make sure that any considerations and changes for the budget come through me. And but there was some last minute information that came back, but I've gone out to this, while I was out of the office, I went back to the auditor, got the HR director and the auditor. We've confirmed that there are 28 positions in this budget, as we agreed. For the strength of force that we were talking about. There's a couple of mislabels on a couple of positions, but and there's a $20,000 error in the sheriff's favor, roughly about a $20,000 error in the sheriff's favor, which I don't intend to correct. If we adopt this budget, again, we can lower the tax rate for our citizens, especially those that are struggling. There might be, because of the way Encode works, a few small errors. I've worked with the clerks, I've worked with everybody to try to correct them, but the strength of force of this budget is compared to last year's, continuing the CIT director. And so I recommend that we adopt this version and get it published out as quickly as possible. Are there any other questions about this budget?
So this includes the new CIT?
It's not a new CIT. It
All
was
right.
a grant-funded CIT that we
It
need to
pays for
continue to
that
pay
extra
for.
one? Or
Yes, sir.
When the grant went away, we've got it in there to pay for,
Right.
keep that one employed?
Yes, sir.
And then does that include the 4 new ones?
That does not, the second corrected version does not include the 4 new deputies. This is, if we want to lower taxes, then This is the second corrected version that I've submitted to you, is the way to lower taxes for our citizens, maintain the strength of force in our sheriff's office, and then hold on to the other cost. And just for the record, I did not add a court reporter to my salary. That is a contract, it's in contract labor, so I'll only call in court reporters when I need court reporters. That's not an additional salary. And the only public information manager is not just a PIO manager, but if you can believe that there was somebody in this Commissioner's Court, a public citizen, that came in front of this board a few weeks ago and asked us why we didn't remember and implement a policy that from 6 years ago, that we don't implement many of our policies. And that public information manager was intended to make sure we know what all of our policies are, they stay in front of us as a Commissioner's Court, and that position as an attorney, make sure that every piece of record that we can legally push out to the public will be on our website. That position will work on behalf of not me, but the Commissioner's Court, making sure that when a wreck occurs, that we have the investigations in this court as required by policy, that anybody who is allowed to take home a car outside of this county has approval from the Commissioner's Court and a recommendation by the elected officials, which is not being done today. We have tons and tons of policies we do not follow, and we need, as a board, one person to make sure we follow our policies, know what our policies are, and work through and hold them in front of us and hold our county accountable to the public, because our primary role is to the public, to serve the public. We are not rulers of the public. And so to do that, we've got to effectively implement our policy. So that's one position. The court reporter issue is just when I have court, the previous judge did not put things on the record, which I think in my travels around the state and court system, I've never seen a judge of that level of court not put things on the record. And I will call in contract court reporters when I have a hearing, which will be on occasion as I need to have hearings to support this county. But when you appointed me, part of the role of that judge is to support the legal framework of this county as a judge, in addition to my role as a budget officer. So, are there any other questions about this budget?
So I'll start off with, you just answered part of Ms. Walker's question from last week on what this PIO position is going to do and cover, which is, thank you.
It's not a PIO, it's a public information manager. A PIO is a different, that's just, just a clerk to respond to PIO. This is about managing the county operations to make sure that all those, I listed out 3 policies we do not follow. And y'all have been on the Commissioner's Court for years. And I've asked, has anybody ever seen an authorization to take a county vehicle outside of the county? I'm just asking. If you take a vehicle home outside the county, our policy says it must be submitted by the approval must be submitted to the Commissioner's Court.
Right, so on that point, I'm just speaking for me, for the proposed budget, we leave that position in there. Could you give us something to have and to hold, to read the detailed description of that position before we go to the final?
Sure, be glad to.
I mean, so speaking for me, I'm willing to leave it in the proposed and not, but I need a little bit more.
Yeah, but I don't want anybody to be under the assumption, the false assumption that position is for me. It is for the Commissioner's Court to manage their responsibilities, which they are currently not managing. And even with the best of my efforts in the last 5 months, I have not been able to take on the kind of detail that we need a position to do this. And it's a cost-saving method because it's putting out information. We have a lot of records that are not out there. They're not published in a way that people can use them.
Listen to Stafford County Clerk, this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but first of all, as elected officials and a U5 elected officials, appointed and elected. Is it not your job to make sure the policies are being followed? Why do we need to pay someone $105,000 to make sure they're doing your job? Why are we paying someone to do y'all's job? I'm not asking for someone to come make sure my records are reported. I'm not making sure, I'm not asking for y'all to hire me an attorney to make sure I'm following the law. I have a county attorney's office for that. I'm just questioning, what is the point of this person? If y'all have policies that you're supposed to be following, why are we not following them? And why do we need someone to tell us we're not following them? You can all read, we can all write, you're educated, brilliant men. I'm not saying anything negative about any of you, but this seems like a very large position to do more of y'all's job. Okay? And then when we go into the records that are not being managed, I would like examples of what documents are not being managed in this county. Because if you guys are holding documents that are not getting into the court minutes, that's a violation of you guys holding documents that are not getting into the record. If it is an official document that is part of the commissioner's court, it should be coming to court and should be submitted as part of the minutes. So I don't know what records are not being maintained and what records are not being put out to the public, but it makes the assumption that I'm not doing my job because I am the records management person for the commissioner's court. So I want to know what documents the commissioners and the judge and the court as a whole has that are not being managed. Do you know? Do we know what documents are not being managed?
There's lots of records created on a regular basis. There's emails that are being requested. Some of those emails could just be pushed out to the public. Those are examples. If you had people to manage some of those communications to make sure that we're not only it's one thing to meet the statutory requirements, but there's ways to exceed. And what I get all the time is people wanting more communications or more information about what we have in many of the documents that they're putting out. But I'll write a job description and we can lay this out a little clearer.
I mean, I can't imagine that this person's going to publish your emails regularly, and I feel like that's what they're asking for in PIRs. But if they're asking for other things in PIRs, I just need to know what they're asking for that should be part of the record, because I want to make sure I'm doing my job to provide them with the most accurate record of the commissioner's court. But if y'all are holding documents of some sort that need to be public, I need to have them in my office. So, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll get that, a written description and answer some of that. And then the second thing is on if all the positions at the jail, at the sheriff's office, I think there's still a disagreement on that they're right or there's the correct amount. Can HR and the treasurer, or the auditor and the sheriff's department and you sit down in the same room and go over it
Yeah,
instead
love
of
to.
this kind of unison thing? Like,
You gotta have an easy response, if that's acceptable. An easy response. The current budget we're in, we have 28 patrols positions. If I understand correctly, y'all voted in a CIT position, right?
Not a new, but just to pick up the grant-funded one that was lost.
So rather than growing our patrol, we're losing a patrol deputy to a CID, as a CID deputy. So we're losing a patrol officer because that's the position it comes from. We're not growing, we just lost a patrol officer, which what we're trying to gain. So the request was, my request was a new CIT deputy. It wasn't to convert. It was a new position when I submitted the paperwork.
So we're going to let the grant-funded one go away?
The grant funded one is going away. There's no saving it. It goes away at the end of this month. We're going to be a month short anyway. That position's gone away. So that officer moves to whatever, we don't have we can move her to patrol. We've already made some changes, but that's losing a position. But the request that I made was a new CIT position, not a reallocated or a reclassified patrol position. I mean, we're losing a patrol officer when we're trying to gain patrol officers by what y'all are saying.
So for that, to your point, Commissioner, that, yes, I'd be glad to sit down with the Sheriff's Office, the HR Director, because that's, if we have a grant-funded position today, and the Chief's warranting that it'll be gone before the time, but we added a CIT, our intention was to continue the CIT for the next year, which is was what I thought was part of the request, but we can sit down and work through that.
And then I guess the whole, what's our timeline on, I know we've got to get a proposed budget filed
Correct.
in order to meet the deadline to have an approved budget, so that way we get the changes we want, right? So does it just revert back to last year because we missed a deadline?
Correct.
What is that?
Well, if we adopt this proposed budget that I'm proposing, because the one we adopted last week is going to raise taxes above what our tax rate that we adopted. So this budget lines up with the tax rate, and we can make a few tweaks and stay within the tax rate. And if that's so, then we would have until the 9th of September to adopt the final budget. And I think we're clear on this. We can make some last-minute tweaks as long as we stay within the tax rate and adopt the budget and the tax rate at the same time.
So what I would also say is that every department out there needs to go over theirs line by line between now and the final
Well, I would
to
rather.
make sure it's right.
May I ask you for every elected official at this point, every elected official needs to go over their budget and then come meet with me about specific changes. But at this point, the departments need to be just, work with whoever, like if development services or library can reach out directly to the
Oh,
commissioner.
right.
Okay.
And I was talking about more for the errors, that there's still some little errors, like in the library's totals, there's errors within that. So they don't affect the budget, but they're still not right.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, there's just hundreds and hundreds of lines in Encode. This has been one of the complexities for relying on a Tyler product to figure this out when there's limited people who have access to Tyler. Especially as in my role, I don't have access to it, and so and also too many hands in there would probably keep more problems in there or add more problems. But yes, there are still a few little discrepancies, but the budget as it stands, is printed out in front of you, adds up to the tax rate that we adopted. So I strongly encourage you to adopt this version. And that'll set us up for a September 9th adopted budget. Final budget. I did, and I closed it. Thank you.
No Rule 7,
I don't know what that means, but that's okay.
one of the local rules, where the public's allowed to participate in the discussion of agenda items.
Thank you. I've closed public comment.
So are you going to deny me the ability to speak on the court's adopted Rule 7?
Defer to council.
You close public comment.
Thank you.
It's Rule 7? you're denying me Rule 7. Just want to make sure, I'm going to give you another chance to clarify here.
I've closed public comment.
Okay.
I don't have anything to say beyond that. Okay.
So, again, I guess you can prioritize meeting together face-to-face to get this ironed out, and we don't have to do it again in court. I think we have a lack of communication here. although-
Transparency, yes.
Well, lack of communication and getting together, because we, like, if the positions are labeled wrong and they're not right, then we need the HR, the auditor, the judge, and you to sit down and
And
get
we,
it right.
and we've done that in the past. The system that you're talking about has been in place in a while, and it's never delayed the budget getting passed because there's errors in it. We've always been able to sit down with the county judge, with the auditor, as a group, to go over line by line as departments. That didn't happen this year, other than in Commissioners Court when we presented our original budget, which there's zero discussion from this board's side to tell us what is or what isn't going to be. All we do is we get what's presented in the proposed budget a day before, well, not even the morning of the last, for us to go through. And then this time, we get a revised budget that I spend 3 days on to go line by line, and then the morning of, we get a new budget. And so it's really difficult. Yeah, I understand that yours is difficult with the software, but us getting the department heads and the elected officials getting the correct information in front of us with enough time to do something about it, and then try to force a budget that has errors and has removed 4 deputy positions, and actually 5 deputy positions in the actual budget. Which were originally on the proposed budget, and then now they're removed.
I just went line by our current budget, and all the positions are on it.
So I just want to, I want to be clear. So y'all covered the CIT position, but we're losing a position because we had 2 people on CIT. We had 2 people. One of them was under grant, one of them wasn't. One of them's actually a patrol position. So the grant went away and you covered that one, but we lost a position.
I went through the current budget, and every single position is in there.
Did you look at the
And
grants?
then the CIT is covered now. So
We did not lose a position.
you did not lose a position.
Okay.
So where are we picking up that granted position then? Did we not lose a position and the grant's gone?
It's covered, and I just, like I said, I just went with the HR director and the auditor, and we went through your budget, and every single position is there.
This is an embarrassment. This budget, there's so many issues in there, so many problems in there. I can't believe you can pass it, but, yeah, that's y'all.
If everything's where's the hot ATTF from last year?
It's back in the special program.
From last year? It's not in the budget at all. If you go through last year's budget, there's no hot ATTF in the budget whatsoever. This year it's in there. It's in there for FY26. FY25, there's the old book I have, 0 hot ATTF position. So those positions, I would assume, are lost also. Well, I mean, we have them, though. They're put in this position. My point is, you're saying we still have that other position, but it's a granted position that it is no longer. So how do we still have that in our budget if it's literally taking a patrol position? And so we're still staying with the 28 officers that we have, but now we just made one of them a CIT deputy when we had already had 2 in that. So we had 29 with that granted position.
I guess back to my original question, can this get ironed out between now and the final? Because y'all are both saying 2 different things. And I don't think we're going to solve it right here.
I say yes, it can be.
I don't have a vote.
No, but you can make yourself available to meet with all the people?
I've been available.
Yes, I get it. That's just, I think that's what needs to happen. So, I would like to point out, in addition to the budget, where we added a text dot line item from fund balance. The Highway 29 turn lane projects that have been delayed and that are on the books. We have an opportunity to add right-hand turn lanes along with the left-hand turn lanes onto our county roads.
Excel, decel, isn't it?
Just
That's
Just
a-
a decel.
That's a- Yeah.
Just a decel. But we're able to spend one-time money for that to become a text dot maintained addition. So I'm, pointing out the good news, I guess. And then in the future, if we were to keep an allocation of that in there, then other projects that come up, 71's gonna have some, and other roads.
How much of the 600,000 are you using for that?
So for next year, I don't quite know yet because I don't know what they're going to let. So until they answer that, I put in the maximum amount it could be, but I don't think they'll do all 6 in 1 year.
So the reason that, sorry, we lost part of it. I had it on, went off. The tape went off here. I had it on. Okay. All right. Anyway, I put it into the Road and Bridge General to make sure that wherever TxDOT came to work through it, they could allocate, that the Commissioners Court could allocate.
Right, it'll be voted on, and then I think it's something we can keep in there on some level every year when those opportunities arise, that each precinct could have a chance at those funds to enhance TxDOT projects.
So y'all are gonna iron out with the sheriff, and they're basically gonna keep what they had
That's correct.
at 28 or 29 deputies.
Right, we'll make sure we reconcile the CIT, because there's no intention of cutting the CIT.
Be two of those.
Well, it'll be one CIT, and then if it's I'll double check that we'll work with the sheriff, and I'll come back and report to this body to make sure that our strength of force remains as it is today.
I guess to be sure, they're not in all of this, they're not gonna lose a
That's
deputy.
correct. There's no intention of them losing a deputy from what we have today.
Okay.
That is not what's intended in this proposed, in the second corrected budget. So, okay, Commissioners, I move that we adopt as our proposed budget the second corrected version that I've put in front of you today. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any further discussion about this budget?
The only thing I will add is it sounds like we still have a lot of work to do.
I don't think there's a lot of work. I think there's a few issues to work out.
Well, there's issues to work out.
And I will make sure that that happens before September 9th. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all right, I'll call the vote. This has to be done by record vote. Commissioner Luther?
Aye.
Commissioner Byerly?
Aye.
Commissioner Collier?
Aye.
Commissioner Dockery.
Aye.
And I, Judge Wilson, vote aye. Vote is unanimous, the motion passes. I will get this posted out in just a little bit. Okay, I call agenda item number 8, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on setting a new date and time to hold a public hearing on the FY26 budget. Is there any public comment?
Patty Cope, Burnett County taxpayer, voter, and interested person. Did we already set a date and time to hold a public hearing for August 26th?
We did.
Okay. Why is this being changed? Can you explain so that the people who don't normally understand and follow along with this, can you make it really clear so the taxpayers can understand what's going on? Really? Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, I close public comment. Okay, so Commissioners, based on the vote we just took, so we had, last week, we looked at a proposed budget, and then we made changes on the fly, which greatly increased the amount of ongoing tax revenue we'd have to collect. So today, we've adopted, also last week, we adopted a tax rate that involved a 3% tax cut to the citizens. And so now this budget reflects the tax rate, the one we just adopted, the tax rate to what we had already adopted. So we can move forward because we cannot have a tax rate, a budget that does not line up with our proposed tax rate. You can't raise, or you can't increase your budget beyond what you proposed on your tax rate. So now we're going to have to reset our hearing to September 9th so that we can then consider the final adoption of this budget. So does that make sense?
So that's why we have to change it?
That's why we have to change it from what we, last week we adopted a budget, but it was on the fly and we didn't really know how much. Matter of fact, the motion that Commissioner Dockery made was, let's see what this does to our tax rate. And it raised our tax rate. So now be careful. You can only talk about this setting of it here.
The vote was actually to put the 4 deputies position in to see what the budget does. If I recall the.
We're not discussing the budget anymore. We're talking about the public hearing.
But you just mentioned that what he said, and that's not what he said. What he said was we were going to do we were going to put the 4 positions in, and they were not in the budget that we just discussed. So that's a misstatement as well, and didn't do what y'all voted on to put them in there.
Okay. So we have to.
September 9th.
September 9th is what I'm
At what
recommending.
time?
At 9 o'clock? 9:30? Oh, in Pierce. Okay, 9:30 then. Okay. All right. So 9:30. All right, do I have a motion to set the public hearing for 9:30 on September 9th?
Move for approval. Second.
All right. And then it's been moved and seconded that we move the public hearing for the final adoption of the budget to September 9th at 9:30 a.m. Moved by Luther, seconded by Collier. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 9, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on setting a new date and time to adopt the FY26 budget. Public comment?
Patty Cope, Burnett County interested person and taxpayer. I noticed that the last meeting you set a public hearing and a time to adopt the budget. They were the same time. What I'm wondering is, are you going to allow an appropriate amount of time for the public to present their grievances about the budget? And if you decide to make changes that the public presents, such as this $8 or $9 million that's coming for some kind of capital buildings or something, and the deficit spending, do you allow time after the public hearing to make corrections to the budget before you adopt it? Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay. I close public comment. So we have to set a date and time to adopt the new FY26 budget. So that would be, I'm going to go ahead and say 9:30 because obviously it'll be after 9:30 once we do the public hearing. But I'm going to go ahead and set it at 9:30 for adoption of the final budget.
September 9th?
September 9th at 9:30. But of course, it'll be following the public hearing, so. At 9:30 a.m. All right, do I have a motion?
Move for approval. I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we set the date and time to adopt the budget, September 9th after 9:30. All those, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Okay. All right, so I can, by general consent, I'll pass on agenda item number 10 since we've already set the tax rate last week and we have a budget that actually lines up with the tax rate. So unless there's some objection, I'll pass on item number 10. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. We didn't do that last week? Okay. All right, excuse me, I misunderstood agenda. I call agenda item number 10, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on setting a date and time to adopt the FY26 tax rate for the following: general fund, county special road and bridge, and debt service. Is there any public comment?
Is there anything attached to the agenda that the public can review on item 10?
Okay. Any other public comment? All right. I close public comment. And the tax rate was adopted last week, and it's also on the cover page of the, as required by law, for the proposed, the second corrected proposed budget. Okay? All right. Do I have a motion? And so this, I guess the set date and time would also be September 9th at 9:30. Is my recommendation. 2025. I have a motion to set the final tax rate.
Move to approve.
Collier moves. There's a second.
I'll second it.
Dockery. All right. This needs to be a record. Record vote, Randy, on this? Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and all right, it's been moved and seconded that we set the adoption of the final tax rate for September 9th, 9:30 a.m., 2025. Moved by Collier, seconded by Dockery. I'll go ahead and do a voice or a roll call vote. Commissioner Luther.
Aye.
Commissioner Byerly.
Aye.
Commissioner Collier.
Aye.
Commissioner Dockery.
Aye.
And I vote aye, Judge Wilson. Okay. I call agenda item number 11, discuss, consider, take appropriate action regarding requiring elected officials and department heads to submit proposed budget changes in writing to the second corrected FY26 proposed budget to county judge at burningcountytexas.org. Is there any public comment on this issue, on this item? Okay. No public comment. I close public comment. I know this is the one way, but Commissioner Byerly, you just said another way is to just contact me directly, either through email or telephone, and I'll set up a meeting. So,
However you want to do it.
but I think what the wise thing would be is just go ahead and let's adopt this agenda item as sending a notice to county judge what the specific changes are, and we can reduce some of the complexity or the confusion around some of these items. And then I can set a meeting with any elected official that wants to reach out and discuss these items. So, does that sound reasonable? So we'll go ahead. Do I have a motion to adopt that any changes in writing be sent to countyjudge@burnhamcountytexas.org, and then I'll set up meetings and meet with the elected officials.
When's the last day you can?
I guess
Submit.
right up until the last.
September 8th?
Yeah, but I would like to have them in advance, but if somebody wants to come in here at the last minute and make changes, that's still within the purview, but I don't feel obligated to be restricted, but I'd like to know those changes before and work them out ahead of time.
I'm just trying to avoid what we ran into today.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that the 8th is an option. I want people to submit soon and then start working through it, because if you have to have meetings, like with the sheriff's office, I want people to have time to schedule those meetings.
Okay.
So I would say by the 29th
August 29th.
Okay.
to submit it, and then you can work with them as they get submitted to meet with them
All right.
and try to iron stuff out.
Okay. Do you want to make that into a motion?
I move that we set, that you submit, department heads and elected officials submit to countyjudge@burnhamcountytexas.org to 5 p.m. on August 29th.
Second.
Okay, Byerly has moved and Luther has seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, and that motion, just to get it back on the record. I guess the back. Sorry about that, technology. Just to go ahead and read that department heads and elected officials need to submit proposed budget changes in writing for the FY 26 second corrected proposed budget to countyjudge@burnhamcountytexas.org on or before 5 p.m. on August 29th, 2025. I've already asked if there's any discussion, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Okay, I now return to the planned order of the agenda. For the record, I've recused myself from this issue, the following three items. I also have my affidavit previously filed with the meeting materials. Since I am recused from the next three items, I so pass the chair position to our Commissioner Pro Tem, Commissioner Doctor.
Gentlemen, thank you, Judge. We'll move to item number 4, executive session. Burnett County Commissioners Court hereby gives public notice of its intent to go into an executive session with the county civil attorney and/or the county attorney in accordance with the Texas Government Code 551.071. The following potential types of discussions are legally permissible. Sections 551.071, consultation with attorney. That is the one we're going to be doing today. And under 4A, discuss and consideration of contemplated litigation, settlement matters, and other confidential attorney-client legal matters. As per Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney, including the following: legal matters pertaining to Burnett County's response to the Bell County East to Big Hill 765 kV transmission project, LCRA Encore Electric Line, and discussion of engagement of a law firm and/or attorney to advise and represent. Do we have any estimate on time, sir?
That 15, 20 minutes probably be safe.
Council is advising us this should probably take about 20 minutes to do. It is now 10:49 a.m.
Joe Don, when he's done, he'll lead us, I guess. But the older guy's got to take a break.
Too much coffee and tea.
Yes, sir.
What's that?
Yeah,
Probably.
morning. Hot mic. 5. I know I'd ask if you wanted to be on it, but I'd actually already.
I was waiting on him, I didn't know.
Okay, folks, it is 11:22, and we will move to agenda item 5, which is reconvene in open session at 11:22. And then we'll move to agenda item number 6, which is discuss and take appropriate action regarding items discussed in executive session. Commissioner Riley, would you like to provide a quick update?
Yes, sir. We'll give an update. We won't be taking any action today, but what the public can expect is that we are going to work on getting it out to the public on, if you're on the affected line, that you can send your comments and concerns and reasons to Encore. So we're going to work on one sheet out to the public on how to do that. And then what the rest of the timeline could look like. We'll get that out relatively soon. And then the next big thing would be that we are going to invite a representative from the PUC to a public hearing style format workshop here for the public to attend and ask questions about the line and the rest of the process. And he will come in person in the next coming months, I guess, really, a couple of months. But between now and December, the only thing the public can really do is, if you're on the line, you can start sending, all the reasons why it shouldn't be on your property or whatever you want to do. Now's the time for that to Encore, not the PUC. And then the PUC will, Encore will, because the case hasn't even been filed with the PUC yet. So to them, there's nothing we can send them that would be considered. Is that a way to say that?
Yeah, they're looking at December, probably a December date.
Yeah, they're looking at filing in December, preferred route or routes. It still could be multiple. And then the PUC will then go through the process of determining if it followed the guidelines and all the things that they established for it to be an approved route. And so they'll have a hearing within the first 3 months. But the total process is 6 months. They have 6 months to approve it. If it doesn't get approved, if it doesn't go to hearing and get approved, it's automatically approved in 6 months.
No, the PUC can reject it,
The PUC can reject it.
but they can also, if they don't take action, it won't be deemed approved.
Okay, so they have to take action within that time, or it'll just be deemed approved. So once it is filed, that's when we will, as a county, work on filing our resolutions and our resolution and things like that. So that's a rough timeline for what to expect from here on out. So if we are going to get a good link for people to click on to double check that they're on any of the proposed routes or not, and have the link to Encore's feedback email, I guess is the gist of that. So we're going to try to work on a nice one sheet to push out to the public to make it nice and simple.
Okay. I'll close agenda item number 6. Thank you, Ms. Pemberton. And for the record, Judge Wilson is rejoining the Commissioners Court. We have all members of the court present. Judge, you have the floor.
Thank you, Commissioner Dockery. All right, so do we need to do time, or you think we're good? I call agenda item number 12, discuss and consider and take appropriate actions. Hold on, this is not on. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate actions to set the sheriff and constable fees for FY26. Go ahead.
Listen to Stafford County Clerk. I receive every year the notice from the comptroller's office to reach out to the sheriffs and constables to see if their fees are changing. I did reach out to the the sheriff's department, and all 4 constables, and no fees are changing this year. So with your approval, I will submit to the comptroller the fees as a no change. So.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, is there any public comment on this issue? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second to adopt and authorize the county clerk to send this to the comptroller for the Texas Transparency notifications. Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 13, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the approval of the TxDOT County Road Inventory. I believe there was only one change in that document this year, and that is our infamous Short Street in Briggs, downtown Briggs, Texas. And that is indicated on this document to be removed or submitted to the Texas Department of Transportation for removal. Does anybody else have any changes to this report that you want to add or delete? Okay, is there any public comment on the issue? Okay, close public comment. Is there a motion to approve this report and submit it to TxDOT?
I'd move for approval.
Okay, Luther moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Dockery seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 14, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the approval of the White Wing Manufactured Home Rental Community consisting of 59 lots on 30 acres. I don't see Mr. Herb Darling, is he?
I've got it.
Oh, okay. On 30 acres located at County Road 211 and Shelby Lane. Commission, I'm going to go ahead and call for public comment. Is there any public comment on this issue? Agenda item? Okay. I close public comment. Commissioner Barley.
So there's an existing manufactured home community on 211 White Wing, and they're trying to expand. They did apply for a public water supply from the TCEQ, and that's still in the works. So this is a little cart before the horse. The well hasn't been drilled, nor have they deemed how many lots it can cover. And so we're going to pass on this agenda item until we can get that back from TCEQ to the wells drilled. They can say how many lots they can have, and the water district has reviewed it, so there won't be any action on this today,
Okay.
14 or 15.
All right, so I call agenda item 15, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action to name 4 streets located in White Wing Manufactured Rental Community known as Lindy Lane, Ivory Lane, Haven Way, and Bubba Lane. I shall submit this to the commissioners. Shall we pass on this by general consent? Okay, then I'll take it as we pass on these items by general consent. I call item number 16, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding approval of the Treasurer's monthly report for July of 2025.
Tori Kuhn, Chief Deputy Treasurer. For the month of July, we had a beginning balance of $78,480,489.96. Our total receipted was $5,235,435.86. We had total interest earned $282,995.09. With disbursements of $5,529,055.58. And that makes our monthly ending cash and investments balance $78,433,208.49, with a total vet rides donation of $2,849.
I'll move for approval.
Second?
Okay, is there public comment on this item? Okay, close public comment. It's been moved by Commissioner Byerly and seconded by Commissioner Luther that we approve this treasurer's report. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Ms. Kuhn is going to be passing around the signature document. I call agenda item number 17, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the following. Acceptance of a donation from 2025, acceptance of a donation from the 2025 Burnett County employee picnic basket drawing in the amount of $5,107 and distribution of the funds to the Arc of Highland Lakes for another local nonprofit. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Let me bring it to you, ma'am.
Actually, my name is Claire Nybro, Burnett County resident. Just have a question. I hope you address where the donation came from on that check. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment on this issue? Go ahead, son. Okay, I close public comment. Ms. Stafford.
Listen, to Stafford County Clerk, in May, not each year, but every year we do this. In May, we hosted the Burnett County Employee Picnic. I think it was a Cinco de Mayo event. And the employees get together and make baskets that are very substantial and awesome. And then county employees get to purchase these tickets and enter a chance to win these. And this year we collected $5,107 on the baskets. And so we usually give that to a nonprofit or multiple nonprofits. I recommended the Arc of the Highland Lakes, but I'm open for other suggestions of nonprofits. So.
I want to just clarify that employees gathered these items either by donations or by paying for them themselves. And then we put them into the basket and then sold raffle tickets. And the employees paid with their own money to buy these raffle tickets.
Correct.
And then the collection from employees sending their money, it came out to whatever we said, $5,107.
Yes, sir. No county money or any
governmental
resource.
funds are involved in this transaction.
In this
Okay.
transaction. These
Other
are all
than
donations.
we received it to the county.
Correct.
And now we're dispersing it to the county.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So you all have to accept the donation and then make a motion to who we're going to give the money to, and then I would like to proceed with contacting them to come in at a future court date to receive the check, so.
Great. Okay.
I'd move to accept the donation in the amount of $5,107.
Second.
Do you want to go ahead and disperse it in the same motion, or?
That would be just fine with me, to accept the donation and then to distribute the fund to Arc of the Highland Lakes
Second.
Okay.
at a future date.
It has been moved by Commissioner Dockery and seconded by Commissioner Luther that we go ahead and accept the $5,107 from the employee picnic basket drawing and disperse that at a future date to the Arc of the Highland Lakes. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 18, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the invoices without proper POs. And then today, Commissioner, this is an issue similar we've seen in several weeks as the county auditor is holding us all accountable to her role as the accounting department. The two questions I always ask each department is answered by the elected official, and number one is, was this purchase for a legal and appropriate county need? And the answer is yes. And second, does the department know how to avoid this transaction or this no PO in the future? And yes, by submitting an open PO to the auditor's office and then watching the use of the PO monthly to make sure that they don't go over on their PO. So I'm satisfied that these are both legitimate expenses and it's unlikely to happen again. I recommend approval. Is there any public comment on this issue? Okay.
I'll move for approval.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, Collier. Commissioner Byerly has moved and Collier has seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 19. Discuss and consider taking appropriate action regarding the budget interdepartmental line transfers. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Closing public comment. I have reviewed these items. They're all requested, indicated on the form themselves. And do I have a motion to approve?
Move for approval. Second.
All right, Luther moved and Collier second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 20, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action for the authorization of payment of claims previously approved by the county auditor. Is there any public comment on this issue? Okay, seeing none, I close public comment. Do I have a motion to go ahead and pay the bills for this week?
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, I'm going to call Luther on that one, Collier and Luther. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. This motion passes. Just give me a sec. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this as a single item. I call agenda item number 21, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding contracts, agreements, and grants to be approved and or ratified. Approve, sign, and execute all necessary documents and actions to complete the interlocal agreement with Coryell, McLennan, and Williamson County for the FY26 Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority grant in the Heart of Texas Task Force. Amend, sign, and execute all necessary documents for revising the Pitney Bowes postage machine contract with a new lower price that was approved and signed in Commissioners Court on June 24th. Approve, sign, and execute all necessary documents to accept the proposal from East Texas MAC buyback program for 2026 MAC GR64F dump trucks. Approve, sign, and execute all necessary documents to accept the proposal from Cadence Bank to finance for 2026 MAC GR64F dump trucks. Approve, sign, and execute all necessary documents regarding the additions of the Texas State Library and Archives Commission to grant application previously submitted on April 28th for the Bertram Library. The proposed addendums include installation of additional privacy pod at Herman Brown Library and a renovation of a conference room at the Marble Falls Library. F, approve, sign, and execute all necessary documents to accept the Capital Area Council on Government solid waste allocation reimbursement cost associated with debris cleanup in the amount of $30,000. approve, sign, and execute all necessary documents regarding an agreement between Burnett County and Creative Decor Holiday Lighting for the following: installation of Christmas lights on the main courthouse, Herman Brown Library Square Annex in 127 East Jackson, wrapping trees at the South Annex, approving the purchase of additional lights for plant and tree growth, and H, authorizing Burnett County on behalf of the Sheriff's Office to apply for ammo and medical kits from the National Rifle Association. Is there any public comment on any of these items? Okay. Close public comment. Do I have a motion to accept all of these items as they've been stated here?
Move for approval.
Okay, Commissioner
Second.
Byerly, moved and seconded by Luther. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Okay, I call agenda item number 22, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding approving, signing, and executing all necessary documents and actions to certify that the Burnett County Sheriff's Office met and the required traffic stops during the FY24 to meet the duty of the requirement of the SB 22. So, Commissioners, this law was passed as a salary supplement to provide emergency equipment and support to rural counties. The fund must first be used to ensure rural deputies make more than $45,000 per year, and rural jailers make more than $40,000 per year. The comptroller asked me to certify that the funds were only paid to deputies making motor vehicle stops in the routine performance of their duty. Burnett County used a portion of the SB 22 funds dedicated to wages to pay senior command staff and jail staff. I met with the sheriff and reviewed the law, and I considered the old emails that I found, and I provided my analysis in the book. That's on page, under the tab for 22. So you can see the distribution of the funds. Well, did my analysis document not make it in? Okay. No, it's too late. So anyway, I met with the sheriff several times. I've called him, and I felt like I had a pretty good position that all of these transactions met the requirement under the law. And the sheriff might have to help me, but the way that the statute says, it's not that they make routine traffic stops. It's that they make traffic stops in the routine performance of their duty. That's the right phrase, right, Sheriff? Okay, all right. So, again, it's Chapter 85, and then the second one is also, I think it's in Chapter 85, is the jailers have care and custody. If I'm messing up, you let me know, but care and custody of inmates in the local jail, okay? It's not that, but when I started getting contact from the comptrollers, they're saying, well, we want you to say that, that they make routine traffic stops every day. So I met with the high sheriff. We probably had two meetings and probably 3 phone calls on this. And I found a note, I don't know, did you point me to that old email or whatever? Somehow I found this old email where the director of the comptroller's SB 22 section said, we don't have a count. We have, we have a, we're following the statutory standards, is what the email that I think I sent you. Yeah. And so I wrote Heather Hampton and Maria Avalos and said, this is what the standard is. And now they're coming back, I don't know, over a month later and asking, now we want you to certify again. Now, so at this point, I just felt like I need permission to certify that our sheriff's department has met the statutory requirement because the sheriff has allocated these funds to, damn it, I'm going to say it again, to persons who in the performance of their duty are required to make routine traffic stops. I think I said it right the second time.
Yeah, that's not exactly how I do it. I mean, everybody that gets the commissioned officer that gets money can make traffic stops. It's not their primary duty. Heck, I make traffic stops. I mean, so, you know, everybody's commission can make traffic stops, and they do. And they're not going to pass something up, you know, if it needs to be handled. That's not their main duty, you know, like a guy in, an investigator. I mean, his job is not to go out and make traffic stops, but he will, you know, if he needs to. So everybody, we went through this last year with and it was, because some other people had questions about it, and the law is kind of written funky. And so it should read, it doesn't, it should read they are capable of making traffic stops. But everybody that's getting paid, I mean, the correction officer is in there, I mean, they're good. And then of course, I'm good, because it mentions the sheriff. But then it says, it has that traffic stop in there. Alan, did you get that letter? You haven't got it? We were getting a letter from Senator Flores' office, because he's one of the authors of the bill. And he's always talking about the intent of the bill. And so.
So I recommend approval.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Thank you, Sheriff. Byerly moved, and
Carter, second.
Collier. Any public comment on this issue? I didn't check. Okay. Close public comment. Yes. This is 24. Yeah. The next one.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved by Byerly, seconded by Collier to approve, authorize the county judge to submit the certification to the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts on this grant. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Okay. I call agenda item number 23. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the approving, the signing, and executing all necessary documents and actions to certify that the Burnett County Sheriff's Office met the required traffic stops during the 2025. And okay, this is just stated wrong, Mr. Counselor. This is just to authorize me to apply for the SB 22 grant. Can I make the modification to the agenda for the purpose? This is, I don't know. Sorry, Sheriff.
I just got a quick question.
Okay.
When you get to me.
This was intended to just simply be to
Application.
apply,
I
to
think
make
you
an
just
application.
changed, instead of met, it should have said currently meet the
Yeah.
qualifications. So I think that's fine, it's just a typo.
But at
And
the
they
end of the-
currently meet it for making the application for FY '25.
That's
25.
yeah.
I
Okay.
think you're okay.
All right. So I'm going to make a correction or clarification to the agenda. This is simply calling authorizing the county judge to apply on behalf of the Sheriff's Department for the FY 25-26 grant for SB 22 grant is what I'm intending to do. That was what I was intending to do, and that's all I was intending to do today.
Okay.
So is that okay, Commissioners? And
Fine with me. If anyone has any objection, obviously, this is just making the application.
this is only making the application.
On the previous one, did you do year 24 or 25?
Well, it's the way that the comptroller is sending these to me, there's 23 and 24. This FY 24 is what I was closing out with them on the grant application. And this is the 25-26 grant that I'm working on now. Okay?
I just have a quick, I don't know if this should have been now or during budget, but in the budget that y'all approved, it only has tasers for SB 22. There's nothing else in there.
There's $350,000 back in the...
Well, the money, yeah, but what are we?
Right.
Can we change, is
Yes.
that one of the things we can
Yes,
work on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. That it needs to be, once I make the application, I'll have to fill out with whatever we agree to. Okay. All right. It's been moved and seconded that we apply for the FY, that the county.
We hadn't moved. Sorry. But I'll move for approval.
I'll second it.
Y'all helping me out here. Okay. Did I take public comment? Any public comment? Okay. Yes, ma'am. There we go.
I'm just a little bit confused about this. You said this is 25, 26, so it should say FY '26?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to apply for the new grant, which just came in my mailbox
So
about 2
you're
weeks.
approving, you're
It's one
certifying
grant.
2 past years and applying for a future year, or certifying 1 past year and applying for a future?
I think the document that I have in me from the comptroller says 25 and 26. And it looks like it only got put 25 in here, but it's 26, so.
That's why I was asking about FY '24. If y'all passed FY '24, that was done a year ago.
No, the last one was to certify. I need to certify to the comptroller that the expenses that we
Past expenditure.
ratifying what was
Okay.
previously done.
But the new request for the new application is for FY '26,
Right.
which starts in October.
That's correct.
Yep, okay.
Just a 2-minute recess, please. I know we have a motion and second, but I think the language on this is so twisted up, we just need to do it next week, and I'll get the correction done, and then I'll have the document for the actual application ready to go. So we withdraw your motion and your second,
Withdrawn.
okay? And I'll put it back on the agenda for next Tuesday.
Plenty of time for that.
Yes, we got plenty of time. And then that'll allow me to also address the issues in the budget that we, okay? So,
It's going to go on the next agenda.
it's going to go on the next agenda. I'm just
It has to be done by the 30th of October, I believe. is the cutoff.
That's correct. We'll do it long before then, so.
So no action on 23.
No action on, I withdraw agenda, calling agenda item number 23, and then we'll reschedule it with the correct language and dates and everything on the next grant. I call agenda item number 24, acknowledgement of receipt, TCEQ application and preliminary decision on water quality land application permit for municipal wastewater, B, TCEQ approval of temporary debris management site resulting from a disaster, C, Texas Wildlife Services Program summary report. These are only receipts, no actions necessary. Is there any public comment? Okay. All right. I call agenda number 25, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding Commissioners Court modifying regularly scheduled meetings. I call agenda item, sorry about that. Anyway, we have a special meeting set on Thursday at 9, okay. It might be a calendar issue, but that is to adopt and publish this schedule of fees. So, okay, anything else? Any action to take off a meeting or add a meeting? Okay. All right. Anything on calendar? I call agenda item number 26, calendar review. Any other items mentioned?
Oh, are we still planning on an HHW October 25th?
I believe that's on the calendar.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm getting a lot of calls now.
Yeah, I have,
Household hazardous waste?
yeah,
Yes.
I have contacted Reliable Tire, and they said that they will be available with the trailer.
Wow.
25th, so.
Are they available to take tires now?
I did not ask that question.
We've picked up over 100 tires on 2 roads in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'd reach out to them.
Okay. Any other calendar events? Okay, I call agenda item number 27, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Farley? Second. Call your second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. The time is now 11:54.